so I know we just met and whatnot, but it has been my childhood dream to actually help shape and direct the direction in which my personal favorite franchise of literally anything is going, and that's Halo. So whenever 343 Industries sent out, rather sneakily, the Season 8 flights, I decided to go ahead and jump on board with that, because that is really freaking cool. So one of the big points for me was in fact the armor customization, which I'm going to be showing off now. So first things first, yes, the helmets will be available for Halo Reach as well as Halo 3. Halo 3 will have access to the armors. I don't know why the armors aren't available for Halo Reach. My best guess is that the Halo 3 and Halo Reach Spartan character models have two different body sizes, or two different, I guess, anchoring points for the aesthetics. So I could see where that'd be an issue, but I would really like to see it come later on, maybe as a patch later on in Season 8. But the really nice thing about these is definitely going to be some of the finer details. Now, they're adding at the very least one item in every single category. However, I've noticed that they didn't bother with the Covenant. Covenant's definitely not getting any love, which I'm perfectly okay with, just because we got plenty of Covenant stuff in Season 7, which was focusing on the elites. Now, the big thing about the armor is how controversial it is. So, a lot of people might look at the armor and say, man, that looks really, really freaking cool. But if you look at it as an isolated thing, well, simply put, it is really cool. It's fantastic. It's awesome. It's exactly what we've been wanting. However, the thing is it's not. There's other armor. But of course, I digress. Here's kind of my thoughts on the entire armor situation. Well, yes, I do think they look nice. I don't think the fan base needs to get up in arms just because it's not canonical. This is kind of the direction that 343 Industries is taking the entire series. I definitely think this is the direction that 343 Industries is taking the entire Halo franchise. I mean, just look at what they've already announced with Halo Infinite. They're going to add in what are called fractured armor sets, where they're not canonical. They don't necessarily fit into the universe of Halo, but they could exist in a parallel dimension, I guess, or in a parallel world, which I think is cool. They're kind of testing the waters with this in Season 8, where all of these armors aren't canonical, and that's why they added a switch in Halo 3 settings, where you can change it to where if you don't want to see any of these, cool, flip the switch and you'll just see players running around in, I believe it's the default armor. But if you're like me and you don't have a stick that far up your ass, then you can go ahead and just leave it off and let players truly express themselves, which I feel at the end of the day is far more important than what's canonical and what isn't. Now, of course, with that being said, there obviously should be some limits as to what is considered as okay to put into the game and what isn't. Like, me personally, the snowman helmet, I don't believe it really fits into Halo Infinite. It's not even an attempt. Like, if they called it Frosty and they made it, like, really round with almost like a security-esque visor built in, or like an EVA-esque visor built into it, okay. Yeah, I definitely get that. I'd be able to respect that. But unfortunately, that's just simply not the case. It just does not look good. Whereas with these, it makes an attempt to, at the very least, stick with the art style, to stick with the style of the Halo series, which I think is really cool, and I think it's really important over to the newest map that's going to be added. It was actually in Halo Online for the few of you that actually got to play it. I didn't get to, sadly. It's called Icebox. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's in kind of like a almost Baltic-esque culture. Like, I understand that some planets were settled by different people, like but was it? I think it was Paris 4 was settled mostly by like Americans or something like that. And like Reach was mostly like Eastern Europeans, which I think is really cool. So I can easily tell that this place is definitely settled by like some Russians or Ukrainians or Bulgarians or something like that, which I think is really, really neat. As for the level design itself, I could definitely see this being a really fun Slayer map or like a free-for-all, maybe capture the flag, but there's simply not enough room for vehicle play. I don't understand why they put a Warthog there. I tried driving it around a little bit. It just didn't work. Speaking of which, the vehicle skins that are coming in Season 8, I think they look fairly nice. I do like the way that the Warthog in particular looks. Now, it does actually remind me, the lion head logo looks a lot like the Ameris bank logo, where it's that lion with the mane. I don't know. Just whenever I saw that, I immediately thought, oh man, I hope they don't get it copyrighted, which I feel like would be super ironic if the official Halo YouTube channel got a copyright strike by Ameris Bank for using their logo. I know that's probably not going to be the case, but just the idea by itself is hysterical to me. One thing I do want to mention here is I do feel as if the kind of more Nordic armor sets, or the armor sets inspired more so by Nordic culture, I can kind of get the feeling that their preferred weapons would be brute weapons. So like the Mauler, the Spiker, the Gravity Hammer, different things like that. I think that's really cool. I think that's a neat touch. I think the armor, the chest piece that has the fur lining on it, I think the fur is a little bit too thick around the collar, just because, as you can actually see in the video, if a character turns his head enough, it looks like he's kind of coughing into it, or like he's trying to snuggle up like almost into. Thank you all for watching. Go ahead and ring the bell so I can stay up to date with all the latest videos that I upload, and I'll see you in the next one.